any technical difficulties and answering questions during the webinar. I have a couple things to cover. First, if you have any sound problems, I just wanted to let you know that you can listen to the webinar over the phone by choosing the Use Telephone option in your audio panel. So that's an option. And then if you already are listening on the phone and you have a bad connection, try hanging up and dialing in again. Sometimes that'll fix a bad connection there. If you have any questions during the webinar, please enter them in the question field at the bottom of your control panel. I'll address as many as I can while the speaker's presenting, and the rest will be answered during a 10 to 15-minute Q&A session at the end of the presentation. The webinar will be recorded today, and you should receive a link to that recording in the next couple days in your email inbox. We will also be posting it on our website. So I think that's all for housekeeping. We are excited to present the second in our webinar series designed to help you increase your revenue. I see we have several familiar names here today. For those of you who we haven't met, let me give a brief introduction to JMH. JMH Consulting is a strategic partner for adult, continuing, and executive education departments. Our areas of expertise include program launch and management, curriculum design, marketing, and strategy, with a strong emphasis on data-driven decisions and a planning process that brings direct results. Thanks for joining us today. Our plan today is to provide you with some takeaways you can immediately use to increase your revenue. Specifically, you'll learn some tips for optimizing the marketing value of both your direct mailings and your email. I know a lot of people are participating in both of those marketing channels, and we want to be getting the most out of them. So who better to present on this topic than Jacob Ensign, my favorite business analyst and a leading expert on data-driven decisions in adult education. In his role as a business analyst and project manager for JMH Consulting, Jacob helps identify opportunities for effective marketing and program improvements for our clients. In 2007, he received LEARN's annual Best in Marketing Award for his data analysis projects addressing course catalog distribution, which is a topic that likely affects many of you tremendously. So without further ado, here's Jacob.
Thank you, Jonna. Thank you for the introduction. I really appreciate it. I can't tell you guys how excited I am to talk about this. This is a topic that is really exhilarating for me, although I'm sure for a lot of people it isn't. But Jonna's introduction of me was good, and I think maybe I had a hand in writing it, but I'd like to provide you guys a little bit of my own as well. I'm just a regular kind of guy. You know, I like to hang out at the bar. I like to talk numbers. I like to derive statistics. I like to make inferences, and I like to make things better. So, you know, I'm just a normal guy. That being said, of course, while a lot of what I'm going to talk about today is statistically based, and there are a lot of math concepts behind some of what we're going to talk about today, none of that is going to be for you today. I'm not going to bore anybody with too many equations. In fact, I think there's only one equation in the entire webinar today, so you should all feel very reassured that I won't bore you too much. But about my role in JMH is, to me, what I do at JMH is strive for efficiency, and that's across the board in the program areas or in process improvements or also in marketing efforts. So at the end of the day, my real concern is marketing efficiency. But what's interesting about my position is that I'm rarely the owner of a process that I study. So when I make recommendations to the teams that I work with, I really don't have a lot of control. So my job is really, in my opinion, to make it, well, for me to do a good job means I need to make everything justifiable, and I need to make implementations as easy as possible and as automated as possible for people. And a lot of what we're going to talk about today is a lot like that. A lot of it is automated and sort of self-managing. You know, I'll give you a little agenda for the presentation today. First, I think it's important to summarize kind of the problem that's going to be discussed. You know, mostly in terms of pain that we all feel. We're going to ask some pretty simple questions, see if we can address those problems by looking at some expert advice from some expert organizations. We'll see if we can sort of theoretically and philosophically perhaps find out what a good solution to our problems should look like. And it's actually not going to be too far of a stretch from reality from a really implementable solution. Then we're going to do sort of simple overview of email and direct mail, talk about benefits of each and sort of characteristics of each, and maybe lessons learned that we could cross over from both, because as we all know, we all do both of these very well. So one goal, of course, is to see if there's any sort of cross-pollination we can do between the two. And at the end is to share a brainchild of mine with all of you, and that is what I call the SMART mailing list. I call it SMART because it's not only good and intelligent to implement for your marketing efforts, but it's also adaptable and changing, and that's important more now than ever in this type of an economy. Before we move on, though, I'd like to launch a poll here for everybody. I'm going to learn a little bit more about you, so see if I can get this first one up. Okay, so the question here is really about your role and your relationship with marketing in your institution. Go ahead and select the one that best describes you, and once we get everybody in there, we'll go ahead and close the poll and see what the results are. Got a couple more, it looks like. You guys are pretty fast. Okay. Oh, there we go. Everybody's in. And it looks like a pretty interesting spread there. Let's go ahead and close that and see if we can share this with you all. This is pretty interesting. It looks like we have a lot of managing people, members of marketing teams here in control of a lot of marketing activities and efforts. And then a pretty even 1/3 of you are not. I guess you oversee some marketing, some decision makers, it looks like, maybe some program staff, I would guess. This looks like a pretty good spread, actually. I think everybody has a lot to get out of today. A lot of what we're going to do is really helpful to everybody. And if you need to sell some of these ideas to people who manage marketing, hopefully you'll be well equipped to do that just with what we talk about today. I want to publish, I'm going to launch one more poll. I'm going to see whether you guys agree or disagree with this statement here. Do you agree or disagree? Our institution uses data to make important marketing decisions and improvements. Let's see, go ahead and pick the one what you think best describes your organization. Yeah, most of the votes are in. We just got a couple more. Great. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to close that. We'll see what I'll share this all with everybody. And it looks like everybody's got a lot to be proud of in your organization. For well, at least the median of you. You know, we're learning more and more that using data is incredibly critical in just about any sort of decision making. And marketing is one of the easiest ways to apply it. I'd vouch for it's important to do all of the time, but then I'm the guy who uses data to decide when he should probably take a shower at night. You know, you don't necessarily need to take my advice on that. But at least on marketing and making those decisions and improvements, it looks like we're doing pretty well. And a sizable plurality, it looks like, disagree that maybe we need to start working on tracking marketing better in organizations. It's very interesting. Let's go ahead and get back to the presentation here.